lifestyle is right for some, but
What's up, weirdos? Have I ever told you about my favorite TikToker, Tyler Catastrophe? A little bit of a bio. According to him, he is descended from King Edward I, as well as Robert the Bruce, the King of Scotland in the 1300s, and apparently he's even the descendant of Edgar Allan Poe, who famously had no kids. But while he's claiming the clout of those historical folk who are white, he's also living in Oklahoma, which, according to him, makes him essentially indigenous. sorry, there's more. He sells his art and his jewelry for thousands and thousands of dollars, with emphasis on his beaded jewelry that he has no problem drawing indigenous connections with. Before we're gonna get into all that, the main thing that Tyler Catastrophe is famous for is his obsession and stalker-like relationship with a very heavily canceled, I guess I would say singer, but he's kind of like, only time I ever heard about this guy. Okay, let's just get into it. Tyler's obsessed with Wilbur Soot. The only context for which I know Wilbur is through Wilbur Soot allegations. So let's look into Wilbur Soot so we can understand why it's so crazy that Tyler Catastrophe has the obsession that is like visually, like the stuff that we're about to see him do. It's so crazy when in the context of this is who Wilbur is. This is the main allegation. It's made on stream by Wilbur Soot's ex-girlfriend.
Needed him to really stop biting so hard. I didn't like it, and I tried telling him over and over again because he wasn't actually trying at all to not hurt me. But he said he would try at first. And then he started saying things like it was my pain tolerance that was too low.
When that came out, everybody was like, Wilbur, what the fuck is wrong with you? You can't just be like, you can't be biting people and they're like, stop biting me.
No, you're just not strong enough.
Well, no, you're biting me and that hurts, and I don't want you to bite me.
Well, obviously, I'm not gonna stop biting you, so you just need to toughen up.
Actually stop biting, that fucking hurts.
Okay, fine, I'll try.
That's the vibe of this guy. He said, the allegation of abuse, particularly in the form of biting, deeply shocked me. Throughout our relationship, I understood from our numerous conversations and text messages exchanges on the subject that this behavior was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. It continued on and on. There were a lot more people who ended up chiming in. It became a huge thing. And let me just say, the consensus very, very, very heavily came down. Wilbur's a freak. Any public association with Wilbur being like,
Oh, I love that guy.
is weird. Like, it was very, very clearly not okay. You had other people chiming in saying stuff like, she said she withdrew consent using a safe word and that you would frequently intentionally bite down harder afterward to the point that she would scream. Say all that to say, it would be very weird to like be publicly thirsting in an unbelievably delusional, stalkerish way for Wilbur. That would be weird. Hey, that reminds me, Tyler Catastrophe, what do you think about Wilbur Soot, or as he's known by his government name, which nobody would call him because he's like known as Wilbur Soot. It's like, unless you're like a close friend, it's like.
I have had a crush on Will Gold since 2019 when I heard him laugh in the background of someone else's video and it felt like life itself leaned in to listen. Which is really inconvenient for me because I am very much a one soul at a time kind of person, so once I develop a crush, virtually no one else stands a chance ever.
If an off-camera laugh will spiral you into parasocial obsession, I would hate to see what happened if you watched a David Dobrik video. You don't need to check their IDs. But this clip keeps going on, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and what this revealed as it blew up, because people were like,
Why does he have a crush on Wilbur Soot?
the depths of insufferable cringe creepiness. It's almost unfathomable, but go ahead.
And I had just broken off a terrible engagement to a guy who didn't even fucking like me. And since then, I have only briefly dated one other person who was wonderful, but it didn't work out. And so in all of that time, regardless of how many people have tried and been interested in me,
Of course, everybody's been crawling all over me. Of course, there were more, and people were trying to get me. They were trying to get me, of course. But the whole time, I was just thinking about that little biting guy. He was laughing one time in a video, and he just like, love it. Do you want me saying all that right now? Okay.
I have not been able to find the interest for any single one of them because I have a fucking crush on a guy I have interacted with once, and I don't even officially know his sexuality. That's a whole other thing, and I have tried so hard to move on from this, to let it go, because I want so badly for it not to cross over into parasocial territory.
A little bit late for that, bud.
I met this guy one time. He laughed in a video. I see him at a meet and greet.
To be, of course, I don't even know what his sexuality is. Of course. However, I fear if I continue not connecting with anybody else in real life and instead having a parasocial fan obsession, that it might get parasocial. I said I don't want to get parasocial, therefore no matter how parasocial I get, it's not.
But in like the 7 minutes that we spoke to each other, one, every time we made eye contact, I thought my heart was gonna fucking burst out of my chest and fly away. Two, I was so nervous that my head just shut off and my mouth had a mind of its own. And anyone who knows me and has ever met me knows that I don't get nervous about people.
Well, you got a parasocial relationship with this internet celebrity that you're going, is that a sign of true love? What are you talking about? You just get nervous when you see somebody that you watch on YouTube or in the movies. I was just at the Creator Summit. I saw Noel Miller there. I went up to him. I was like, hey, I really love your videos. I just want to say I'm a big fan. And then I just left. I was just like, I really love your videos. I think you're really funny. Does that mean I'm in love? Noel Miller? Oh my God. I don't want to get parasocial, but I want to kiss. It's the way he looked at me when he said, oh, thank you, bro. That's what's going on here, Tyler. And I love that he's trying to be like, we spoke for 7 minutes. No, we did meet mean in real life. Like, we were making a lot of eye contact too. Like, we were genuinely like chopping it up and talking for it. Like, he wants us to be like, no, Tyler, you do have a chance with that little. Is it cringe if I call him Freddy Fazbear because he bites? Yes. Okay, keep going.
3, he somehow managed to make me want to write music again, something I have not done since my last band broke up in 2019 and I got hit by a car and couldn't sing anymore.
Slow down. It's okay. You're dropping a lot on me, so he restored your love for music. You made me want to sing.
God forbid I haven't even sang in the last 6 years.
Ever since I got creamed by that Toyota Tacoma.
And I can sing again now. It took several years, but I got it back because I'm amazing. But how dare you pull my spark back out from underneath the ashes I spent years burying it under because it hurt too much to think about. In like 2 sentences. It's rude.
It's so rude. He came up to me, he said 2 sentences at meet and greet, and then he made me want to get my love for singing back. How rude. I don't want to get parasocial. You are ranting about a parasocial obsession that you have with somebody you met at a meet and greet, and you're talking about, I've never loved anyone else. I have a crush, and I'm going to pursue it.
I'm going to.
He failed to take a selfie with me because he was operating on like iPhone settings and I have an Android, and I accidentally called him adorable and immediately wanted to swallow my fucking tongue. Because you don't flirt with people when they're working. That's rude. I paid to. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You're taking crazy pills, and if you're not taking any pills, I have bad news for your general state. You're crazy. I'm sorry, you're crazy if there's no pills involved. Also, I want to make this point early in the video. I view this whole thing kind of as a case study in a self-inflicted tragedy that I would refer to as parasocial self-mythologizing. And I think it's important to see how, honestly, it really is so self-destructive. Oh, it's so cringe. It's so cringe because you're looking at me like you're not. I shouldn't have flirted with him. Oh my God, I shouldn't have fucking flirted with him, but I just couldn't help it. I have an Android, of course, but he had that iPhone. It's adorable. I shouldn't have said it. God, I don't want to get parasocial. What do you think is the video that you're filming right now? Oh my God, it makes me want to crawl out of my skin. This clip keeps going. I want to come back to it though because there's so much more. Like, he talking about singing. Well, Wilbur Soot's in a band called Lovejoy that Tyler Catastrophe is referring to, like with singing and everything. Want to get back into singing? Oh God, I feel like I shouldn't be showing you this. It's too cringe. Tyler, it's okay. This is so cringe. So now that we know that he has this obsession with Wilbur Soot, look at what he posted. Oh God.
Oh, hi, Lovejoy. Do you want a second vocalist? Here's Portrait of a Blank Slate. The whole thing. I hope you like it. I mean, you probably like it already, let's be honest. It is your song, but I also hope you like the parts that I'm gonna do. The singing part. You know.
Okay. I know. He's about to start singing. I'm looking at this screenshot right now. I don't want to hit on pause. It's the vibe. This Tyler Catastrophe should be under the Wikipedia page for parasocial. You can't get more parasocial than that cadence. The way that he's talking there. I know you probably do love it already, seeing as it is your song. But I hope you like the part with me. And just sing it! If it's so good, sing it! You don't need to do all this preamble. You think that you're actually having a connection talking to Wilbur Soot in this moment right now. Meanwhile, Wilbur biting on his foot like a freak. Okay. Here we go.
Told me to kill my indulgences with a sharp blow to the temple.
Indulgence of the temple. It's giving like, point the finger, pull the trigger.
Point the finger, pull the trigger, throw them off your trail, you'll get yours eventually.
Now, Lovejoy the band saw this and said, no, thank you. But of course, Tyler Catastrophe said, just like your lead singer, I don't take no for an answer.
Portrait of a Blank Slate by Lovejoy. Fucking love this band. They're so goddamn fun. Every time. Wonderful trumpets. I'm a slut for trumpets. Nothing else, though. Definitely not. I think I'm having too much fun. It's also a possibility. Who knows?
It's also a possibility. I mean, I'm doing this for Lovejoy. Yeah. I'm a slut for their trumpets, but I'm not. But I would be. If anybody wanted me to, I'd do it right now. If somebody asked. That little head bob at the end.
It's also a possibility. Who knows?
Yeah, play it off. Hey, we're filming this video. We could just not post it. We're filming this. We're gonna be like, nah, man, that was cringe as fuck. I gotta do it again, obviously. Tyler Catastrophe looking at it afterwards like, okay, first of all, Wilbur gonna be charmed. Lovejoy, other members gonna be sitting there going, now we need him in the band. What do you think is gonna happen? I don't know how, I mean, I know how you can watch a video and not realize it's cringe. You have to be so deeply TikTok brain cringed the fuck out. And that's fine, you can get better. But let's hear those pipes.
He told me that much and now he's dead. Told me to kill my indulgences with a sharp blow to the temple.
Okay, we're throwing a little bit of oh yeah. That's why I didn't get in the goddamn band. I didn't do enough choreo. It wasn't that my vibe was horrifying and off-putting, and it does feel like I am a stalker. No. No. It's that I didn't do choreo. Of course. This video goes on for way too fucking long, by the way. This is 2 minutes after that last clip.
I'm pretty cool once you get to know me.
Eh, I feel mean. It's just so actually not like how we're supposed to be acting online. Like the reason it's so cringe isn't just like, oh, it's a person singing in their apartment. Ooh, yeah, don't make fun of people like that. But it feels like as you're watching this, like an unwritten social contract is getting broken hardcore because I know it's just a TikTok, but it feels like you're stalking this guy.
Sorry, it's not so predictable. It's so predictable.
By the way, I can't sing better, but when people call Tyler Catastrophe out for this, Tyler Catastrophe's not being parasocial at all.
This is disgustingly parasocial. Do you know what parasocial means? Do you? Because having a crush on someone is not inherently parasocial. Convincing myself that he also has a crush on me and that he wants to marry me, that would be parasocial.
No, it'd be like if I had fantasies of him fucking wanting to marry me. That's what would be parasocial. Exactly. Do we have a clip of that? That exact thing that you're talking about? In addition to everything else that we've already seen? Here's another clip of Tyler Catastrophe talking about, again, that one time that he met Wilbur Soot IRL at a fan meetup. The entirety of their interaction was Wilbur was like, fucking camera is us. I don't understand that. Yeah, I'm an idiot. That was it. But in Tyler Catastrophe's mind,
Little silly mistake, hits the wrong button, it's fine. And he says something along the lines of, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm stupid. And what comes out of my fucking mouth? You're adorable, it's fine. And this happened like a week ago. I've been thinking about this for days. Who allowed this?
it's one story, but it's really the end of this clip that makes it very, very too far. It's too much. It's already enough that it's just a selfie that you keep talking about, like, God, I was flirting with him. Why was I flirting with him? I love him. But look.
This man looked at me like he wanted me to look at him, and I...
If I could call myself a champion, maybe House Targaryen might take me in. Targaryens, they're tyrants.
Oh no.
Oh no. How much did you pay for the meet and greet? Brother looks at you like this. In your mind. Oh, the way he looked at me like he wanted me to look at him. Well, how often are you looking at somebody like you want them to look away? You Ellening them? What the fuck are you looking at? What the fuck are you looking at? That's how I'm gonna be. If I ever do like a live meetup, I'm just gonna be... He looked at me like he wanted me to look at him. Oh no, I'm not parasocial though. I don't have this vibe where I think he's into me. I just have like this deep lore underneath one look he had. So I call him adorable so he knows I love him. Meanwhile, he's still looking at me like he wants me to look at him. Okay, but he knew. And I said that I was a slut for trumpets or him. So he was thinking that in the back of his mind. Not parasocial though, guys. It's like just regular tier shit. What group chats are you in? Sorry, what Discord is this normal in? This one's a long rant that Tyler Catastrophe is talking about how I want to be in the band. Other bands are like, they're cool, but it feels like Lovejoy, I could contribute in. Look at this. This is like unhinged. What does the filming process of this look like?
And they seem like they're all having equal amounts of fun with the actual songs, which I like. And I feel like the only part of every song that feels less important than everything else is like the vocal melodies. And absolutely zero hate to Will Gold. He's very good at what he does, and I love listening to him sing and talk and everything else. But every time I hear a Lovejoy song, I just want to, you know, I just want to sprinkle some good stuff in there, because vocal melodies are my thing.
Guys, put me in the band. I mean, am I not making a good enough case yet? Look, I can sing, clearly. You've seen my 500 videos that have been DM'd into your inbox every single morning saying, hey, please, hey, please. But more than that, I mean, at the end of the day, you need a melody there. Everybody's doing everything perfect, but you're just missing me. And God, it's not that it's your fault, Wilbur. You're such a good singer, Wilbur. And I love all your writing and your instruments and your vocals, but I gotta add a little bit more in there. Anybody want to put me in the band? No? Still? Okay, how about I deadass stalk you IRL? For context, Wilbur Soot lives in a place called Brighton. It's a city in England. Not a big place. I think PewDiePie used to live there. It's kind of oddly like a European YouTuber hotspot. Look at what Tyler Catastrophe says. Okay, there's multiple videos here that are kind of like in a lore document. Let's just go through and unravel what happened here.
Now, I'm actually incredibly lucky because I have friends in England who offered me a job doing things that I love with people that I love. And now I have an incredible job working with amazing people in England waiting for me. And I just have to just love asking for help on the internet. It's like I found my dream job, and I got my dream job, but I gotta go to the dream job.
So Tyler Catastrophe started a GoFundMe to get a job in England that was offered to him, but that they didn't want him to work there. It's difficult to really like parse what's happening here, but Tyler Catastrophe just keeps unloading more and more content on us so we can actually put together exactly how this delusion came to be. Because he's trying to go to where Wilbur Soot lives, not to run into him or anything.
And after getting to go to England and visit the Culture Hustle studio and absolutely fall in love with the work they do there, and after looking up to Stuart Semple for like half my life, I asked if I could work for him, and he said that we could figure something out. And he knew that I had a deadline to make it happen, but once that deadline started approaching, he completely ghosted me for months. And because I wanted to see the best in him, I assumed that he was just busy. I continued doing what I needed to do on my end, fundraising, working my ass off, turning down opportunities, selling almost everything that I owned, stuff that I still have not been able to afford to replace over a year later. But the closer we got to that deadline.
So what it sounds like to me, personally, is Tyler Catastrophe's trying to get to England. Tyler Catastrophe like, oh, here's a cool place. Conversation goes, yeah. And you said, can I have a job here? And he said, maybe we can figure something out. And then you started to GoFundMe. And Tyler's saying stuff like, when a world famous artist says he'll hire you, then ghosts you like a bad ex, basically sabotaging your life and career, but at least this is your work. The thing is, based on how you've romanticized and talked big up about the Wilbur Soot fan meet and greet encounter, you waxed poetic at length about that one, it just feels like this job offer wasn't as solid as you made it out to be. And in those first videos, he's like,
I found my dream job, and I got my dream job, but I gotta go to the dream job.
well, it just doesn't sound like you got the dream job. If you're like, I need money for my job, isn't that what the job do? If the job wants you, then the job's gonna like, it's the job that you're making it out to be. Hard to see it any way other than Tyler Catastrophe read way too much into a very simple situation that should have been treated as like a, oh yeah, oh no, that would be cool. Or at the very least, shouldn't have taken a kind of non-committal answer and then tried to use that as an opportunity to stalk your obsession. So of course people were accusing him of doing it just for Wilbur, so of course he had to respond.
Seen the guy moving halfway around the world just to be closer to a YouTuber? If y'all think I would make a massive life-altering decision that takes years of work to achieve, just because I was willing to admit on the internet that I think a musician I don't know has a pretty laugh, then y'all really have the wrong idea. And I suppose you have a better explanation? I was supposed to move to Bournemouth a couple years ago. I had a job lined up, I did a ton of research, made a ton of preparations.
First of all, I love the self-interview format, Tyler. To be clear, he's 26. Talking about multiple years ago, I was offered a job in England when you were younger, but also 2 years ago, you were already interested in Wilbur Soot. So I don't think that means anything, especially when it's like, I had a job lined up. You seem like the type of guy who oftentimes has a job lined up and then mysteriously falls through. But Tyler Catastrophe continued in the interview and honestly did some great investigative journalism because he exposed himself in the next clip.
You expect me to believe that's the only reason? I mean... I'm sure I'm not the only guy in the world who would let his decision to move somewhere be influenced by a sports team. And why would you like their football club if not for a crush? I grew up in the sport. My whole family played. We helped run a non-profit youth club. I was a referee for 6 years. And when it comes to the Premier League, most of the other teams, Chelsea, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Leicester City, to me, they all play like assholes.
No, I believe you. I totally believe you. No. You're just into the same sports club as the person you're parasocially uber obsessed with, to the point that you have a bunch of that local team's cards and a snow globe for the city. Yeah, of course, because you like sports. Not anything to do with the one unifying factor, which is the person there who you are delusionally obsessed over. That has nothing to do with it. I'm not buying a bunch of shit from a city from this guy that I have a parasocial obsession with just because of that. I'm buying it because I like the city. The person I'm parasocially obsessed with is like, okay, sure, they're also there, but I don't even think about that. There is nobody buying that. You have just shown more evidence of the depth of your parasocial obsession. You're getting into local sports and then doing research so you can say stuff that sounds like, no, I'm just into the sport. Arsenal plays like assholes. Shut up! Doug, you are not watching the Premier League in a not parasocial obsessed with Wilbur Soot way. What does that even mean? I don't know, sentences are coming out that I've never even said before.
Brighton actually plays the game. I mean, I could talk about how Verbrugge and Van Hecke, Weaver are pretty much the sole reason I have a paid fan club membership to the Netherlands national team. I could talk about how Matoma is such an ace fucking striker, he literally has a PhD thesis that he wrote about dribbling.
Okay, alright. This doesn't come across in an unhinged way at all. Y'all can draw and anybody can draw their own conclusions. You know what, Tyler? Maybe you are just a massive Premier League fan, and it's just a coincidence that your favorite team in the Premier League, for Premier League and soccer reasons only, is Brighton, the same city as the person you're crazy about. No, it's just soccer reasons, and honestly,
More than anything, I'm actually moving to Brighton now because of the guy I'm obsessed with, but because of the soccer team that plays there, because they play it the real way. They don't do any of this flopping around.
no, sure. I want to show you another clip, but I don't want to give you any context for it. It's not funny, but out of context. Okay, go ahead.
Someone once totaled a Lexus with my body, and now I'm a professional freeloader. I do prefer the word artist, though. I actually make jewelry like this. I sell it, too. I also make stuff like this, and stuff like this, too. And I've worked hard enough and been lucky enough that this is my full time. I had orders from 48 states, 15 countries, 3 continents. I'm doing okay. But the funny thing is that this was never my end game. I was actually a musician before I got hit.
I sang, I wrote music, I played the trumpet, I was in a band, we were halfway through an album.
You play the trumpet? I thought you were a slut for trumpets. You're playing it? You play the trumpet masturbatorily? That's actually the biggest disgrace in this whole video. You can't be doing that.
Dark sparkly shirts make me a slut.
Wait a minute. No. Hey, I'm gonna be honest, those bead designs look so complicated. I love how complicated they look. They look very difficult to make and complicated and cool. But the Lexus being totaled on his body, it's like so sad to be hit by a car and have a lot of pain from it, but it's so funny to say Alexis totaled on my body. But that being the reason, I can't sing anymore, so I gotta make these necklaces. But I'm trying to get back into singing. Well, he says something here.
I saw all my friends touring, releasing albums, getting Emmy and Grammy nominees. I decided if there was a chance I could sing again, I would. And after years of back and forth and a lot of pain, my voice is even better than it used to be. And now I save $1 from every order in the hopes that I can finally buy back all the music equipment that I sold to make ends meet. And while I have zero interest in being a solo act, I did that with the jewelry, it was lonely. I take comfort in the fact that if a band asked me to join tomorrow, I could comfortably say yes.
Lovejoy! You wouldn't want to hire me, like, come on. I got Alexis totaled on my body. They make really cool necklaces. I'm just trying to get back into singing. I'm better than I was when you rejected me before. I don't want to sing alone. It'd be a shame if somebody I loved and fucked with so heavy I kept promoting and put me in their band. Somebody who looked at me like they wanted me to look at them. Who I called adorable. Well, let's talk about these necklaces real quick for a second, because the way that Tyler Catastrophe talks about them, dog, I could have let you in on some secrets here. Oh no. To be clear, this sick. I'm not gonna be an asshole and be like, that's lit. Like, okay, that looks very cool. To buy it, you could pay $1,349 or more. If you want to pay more, I have never seen that on a website before. Would you like to pay $1.5 grand or a little bit more for a necklace?
Is it made by a designer?
No, it's made by somebody who is like very famously incredibly cringe and parasocially obsessed with one abuser. But yeah, I don't like it. It looks like it took a lot of time. It does, like, they look like they took a lot, but you know, people in response to this were saying, well, people were looking at it a little bit sideways, because, well, Tyler's from Oklahoma, and you remember what I was saying about the indigenous people?
I was born and raised in Oklahoma, arguably the most indigenous state, given how many times it was taken away and then leased back to its people. Peoples who have endured immense suffering, time and time again, and even in continued suffering, have fought tooth and nail to keep not only their lives, but their ways alive, even when their stories and histories and ceremonies have been outlawed by people who saw what they had, saw their kindness and generosity, and decided to take everything they had away from them. And it's rare that I talk about my own beliefs and experiences with spirituality or whatever word you want to use for it, mostly because I'm not the debating type. But if there's one thing I hold to be absolutely true, is that the land remembers her people. And while there is a lot to be said about the generations of breeding out the savage, quote unquote, something I hate saying, and the very racist intentions of blood quantum, but when it comes to me personally, the land I was born to holds a great deal of importance to me. When I'm sure of nothing else, I'm sure of where I come from.
Okay. Y'all mind if a white boy speaks on indigenous culture real quick? Okay. This is like, okay, how do I go about talking about this? I can tell you the vibe I get, and you can tell me what you think. I'll just say personally, if I were talking about something like this, personally, I would just see what it looks like when I'm talking about I get my spirituality from the land and talking about the suffering of indigenous people, and then like in some ways like it feels like, yeah, you're acknowledging it, but it also feels like you're doing that in a way that is you claiming that spirituality for yourself. What you feel about spirituality is like very individual and personal, but I just feel like spirituality, when connected with specific culture so closely, gets a little bit weird when a white boy in Oklahoma starts talking about the land I was born to. I just don't feel like I can be claiming a connection to the spirituality and culture that my existence is a reminder of the genocide that my people committed on that land and that culture. That's like the great-great-grandchildren of the vampires and sinners being at the juke joint like, you know what, I just feel like connection to this area. I don't know. People feel differently about spirituality. I'm just saying, personally, that's why I have like an issue with the way Tyler's talking about it. I just find it very cringe and, you know, kind of claiming the suffering of another people group. Although there is a connection here where Tyler Catastrophe is a trans man. And so he refers to himself, okay, well, let me just let him explain for a second.
If honoring the ways of the people of my home, learning their histories and doing what little I can to help keep their ways alive, and referring to myself as Two-Spirit as a way of honoring the weight of my own soul and the way it guides me home, with the blessing of my deadliest auntie, by the way, is something that you would consider morally corrupt, then I don't think we will ever understand each other.
Because Two-Spirit is an umbrella term used by some indigenous North Americans to describe Native people who fulfill a traditional third gender social role in their communities. That's why like this, like y'all gotta go with me here because I'm a cis white boy talking about this and I'm interested to hear your take, but Personally, Tyler's talking about a connection to the land, a connection to the spiritual, cultural roots and history of the indigenous people of the land I'm in right now, tapping into what's in my vicinity in terms of energy, and then specifically relating it to that term, to spirit, which is an indigenous culture. But then I also have to bring this up, another little wrinkle, because it could be easy to go, there's like a nuanced situation here. It could be easy to settle on that, but I do have to bring up that it's a contemporary pan-Indian umbrella term used by some indigenous, and it was coined in 1990. So it's not like some deep historical way of the spirituality in that land. And on the Wikipedia page for itself, its use by non-natives is seen as a form of cultural appropriation. Okay! Which is interesting, because if Tyler Catastrophe just looked on Wikipedia, he would see that like doing that is something for indigenous people. You can't be like, that vibe has so much aura, it's so cool, and I want to have something that has that much aura and that cool. That's what cultural appropriation is, dog. It's like you're like rediscovering what it is. It's like when people are culturally appropriating something, it's not because they think that thing that they're appropriating sucks. They're like,
that has so much aura.
But the reason that it's cultural appropriation is because it's coming from like a cultural core root that makes no fucking sense when it's outside of that culture. The Black Panthers are like sick as fuck in terms of aura, but just because it has aura doesn't mean as somebody who has no relation to it, I can come in and be like, Malcolm X is my guy. Wakanda forever. It's like, clearly some things are meant to be celebrated and used in a specific context, and when your self is not that context, when you do it, it takes on a different vibe. And people are gonna say, hey, that's cultural appropriating. It says so on the Wikipedia page. And also your justification for it, where it's like this historical thing that you have a connection to the land. Bro, that dropped in 1990. You're not getting it from the land itself because you're living in an apartment in Oklahoma. Oh my God, can you imagine if everybody in Oklahoma was also just like deeply connected to the indigenous culture there? I don't know if y'all have ever driven through Oklahoma. As somebody who goes from like Houston to Kansas or Arkansas to like visit my family and stuff, y'all, Oklahoma, let's just extend a prayer for every soul in Oklahoma right now who doesn't want to be there. I know. So with everybody seeing that, as well as selling beaded jewelry for $1,500 or more, a lot of people were like, hey, maybe we should actually go support actual like indigenous artists who are making jewelry, because they're selling it for way less than that, and it's way better, and it's actually made by indigenous people who are doing their type of design rather than somebody who is on the Wikipedia page for Culture Vulture. So Tyler said this. Oh God.
I have a lot of friends who are indigenous beadworkers because we run in the same circles, but I've never claimed to have invented beadwork.
But are you rocking the look? Your style's inspired by what? I credit the tribes of the Seminole for inspiring my bead. How's it 2026? You don't know that that's the cringe thing to say. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Okay, this is the clip that gets shown to that one back to back to show like the continued culture appropriation, but go ahead.
This necklace took nearly a decade to make. 9 years of trial and error, building skills that no one else could teach me.
I got a lot of indigenous people in my circles. That's why, basically, because I said that, I get the cosign that it's okay that I'm doing like that type of design and stuff. No one could teach me how to do this though. I figured this shit out. I didn't invent it, but this shit all fucking me. No one else knows how to do this but me. Not you, not Hermione, me, you. But no. Tyler Catastrophe never claimed to have invented beadwork, but just this specific like indigenous type shit. Of course I did. No one else could ever fucking teach me shit. Of course I have close personal connections with everybody who could. What are you talking about? Speaking a little bit disrespectfully though, because we are talking of royalty here.
Family history is very large and complicated, which of course has a lot of downsides, but it does have the small upside of being related to a lot of dead famous people. Edgar Allan Poe, Robert the Bruce of Scotland, and apparently my uncle is currently mapping another family line. So now I know that I'm also 27 generations descended from King Edward I of England and Queen Margaret of France, apparently.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Oh, apparently, yes, of course. I am absolutely at the subsequent zenith and apex of all of the things that I am interested in. Of course, I had Edgar Allan Poe in there for the aura as well.
Okay, Google Edgar Allan Poe children, quick. Edgar in Virginia had no children.
My mother mapped a family tree, and it just happened to be related to very cool people.
Okay, maybe you were related to a guy named Edgar Allan, maybe Edgar Poe, but you're not. So now all of a sudden I'm looking at King Edward and King Robert. Queen Margaret, I'm like, wait a minute. What if they're just people named Edward, Robert, and Margaret? How come everybody who tracks their family lineage is all descended from? The only one you could actually probably say that about is Genghis Khan. It's just giving, you know, I'm 1/8 Cherokee. If everybody's 1/8 Cherokee, then nobody is. Also, when we're watching these videos, like this one right here, y'all not thinking about how that's literally on the website right now for $800? It says can be worn by anyone. Well, it's definitely been worn by you. Is there an option to get them not pre-worn? You've seen the chokers, but have you seen the Mush Trophy Collection? The Tempest. Okay, okay. Saying crawling back to you, the sunlight of a golden emperor, the hummingbird. That's the background music. Not loving this. This is what I should do when I relaunch my necklaces. Be like, hey, you wanna wear this shit? Oh, by the way, okay, this is so funny that we're talking about this. I haven't released like my necklaces for like 2 years. I'm dealing with immigration shit with Sophia, but we're good now. I don't know if I can sell all 5 of these designs, so these are like the samples. Could you let me know? Just say the numbers of the top 3. I think we can do 3, maybe 4 designs, and I'm trying to see which ones like y'all will want to buy. Also, we're gonna do bracelets and earrings. It's so funny that I'm talking about that with Tyler Catastrophe. I've been getting so many comments, but a lot of people would ask me, so I gotta let you in and know because also I need help. Okay, we know you need help, Cooper. Okay, what about his paintings?
This next one is sort of an honorable mention because it is like more than 200, but I don't know if you can see those beads on there, but I have no idea.
Okay, so we said a little bit over 200, text on screen talking about 275. Here's another video we did a little bit later.
So it is for sale for $3,500 plus shipping.
Okay, $3,500 plus shipping for that? Okay. To be clear, Ringo Starr of the Bay-Os, 1,800 for this. I have Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr doesn't even do autographs anymore. That's his video like, I will not sign any photos, peace and love. That photo he's saying, no more autographs. He signed this. An original Ringo Starr. By the way, the aura of this and that, can't be saying that's 3,500, this is 1,800. This already is like, what the hell are we talking about? Double that, and you already called it like 275 earlier? Boy, if you don't, boy. What about this one for $335,000? Bro, who buying that? What do you think $335,000 is? No, I spent a long ass time on this. No, this I could honestly see you could sell this for like 3,500. Sure, you go to an art, like that's a lot. That is a lot. It's a big piece of painting. Artists deserve to be paid. You sure you intended? You sure you didn't accidentally multiply that price by 100 though? Is it worth 3,500? I'm like, you painted the subject with their back to it because it's easier than painting the face. It's my opinion. If I'm looking at the art, that's just the first thought that's gonna pop into my head. If I went to a museum and I saw this, I'd be like, that guy doesn't know how to paint faces. But now, as of the recording of this video, just a little bit ago, Tyler Catastrophe released a full, I would say, apology, which is my favorite genre of TikTok videos. So let's go through it and see what he actually talks about.
So, firstly, I do not refer to myself as Two-Spirit. I have mistakenly done so in the past, in 2023, I think, in a video I honestly thought I deleted because I realized right after I posted the video that I fucked up. And when I made a more recent video about the differences between my own beadwork and the beadwork done by other native and indigenous peoples around me, ended up unearthing that old video that I had already self-corrected and again thought I had deleted.
Hit him with a my bad. Hit him with a my bad. That's the way to do it. I think you gotta hit him with a my bad. What about that Wilbur Soot stuff?
My second point, when it comes to the Wilbur and Shovel situation, firstly, please understand that there is really no good way to say any of what needs to be said. Honestly, I probably should have just never commented on any of it at all. But when I posted that video 2.5 years ago, there was still a lot of confusion, and the only reason I posted that video was because there were multiple people asking me my opinion. And at the time, there was a lot of harm being done just from the communities and fandoms surrounding this. And I stayed away from anything other than Shelby's statement, because with anything else, I just felt that there wasn't enough information and a lot of conflicting information that I didn't fully understand and didn't want to speak on because I didn't understand it. And because I saw a lot of people treating Wilbur's statement as an admission of guilt, when to me it did seem genuine and like he honestly didn't understand the extent of the harm he had done and was doing therapy and stuff to be better in the future, I felt very strongly about the way it was being treated from an outside perspective.
And again, to be clear, that you're from the outside perspective and you're seeing the person you're parasocially obsessed with say, no, it wasn't that bad. I didn't even really do it like that. No, I didn't really do that. He said he didn't even really
really do it like that. Anybody else think about that? Oh, you guys are mad at him and saying he did all those things? Did you think about what the abuser said? He said he didn't even do it like that.
There's just a lot of conflicting information because there's like the victims who are coming forward about him, but then there's him saying,
I didn't do that.
So it's like, who do I believe? This is the thing. I find Tyler Catastrophe to be an example of an avatar of parasocial, if you will, because this is a type of person who you run into online. Like, this is a type of person who's in comment sections. When we talk about people being parasocial, usually it's not somebody who actually has any sense of like a public facing persona. Tyler Catastrophe has a public facing persona, unfortunately, almost exclusively for cringe, but he kind of is the best example that I've seen of parasociality being the reason that somebody gets brought down and canceled. Because it's parasocial over somebody who is like, it's insane to be parasocial about somebody who's just, and the way that Tyler was parasocial about it and all of the things that are wrapped up in there, I just feel like the way that Tyler talks in all these videos, it's so the type of person who would never be canceled, who would never be found to be in the wrong on anything. Like the person who you think of when you think of like Discord snark pages, like stuff like that. But in this situation, to see the person who is parasocial be the subject of the discourse, I'm hoping that this situation getting some light really causes a lot of people who might have more overlap with Tyler than they even want to consider to do a little bit of self-reflection, because outside of like if you're actually stalking a celebrity, there's a lot of being harmed that is done to yourself when you're living in this mindset, because you're really not living for yourself. If what it feels like is true, Tyler is so isolated and feeling strongly a sense of community online, but with a specific person who does not know that he exists. But we had the eye contact, he knows I exist, like, oh, it's that parasocial connection that is feeding him more than anything else in his life that makes him a very tragic figure. And to see a tragic figure go through something like this is like bringing out certainly empathy. Like, I feel so bad for Tyler, just like seeing the tragic life of someone who's living fully in like a parasocial obsession. But because this is the situation, as much as you want to feel bad for what Tyler's going through because of how tragic it all looks, it's such a sign of a self-inflicted type of tragedy that if your time was spent less parasocially obsessed and more focused on your own life, like, where do you want to live? Does it have to be where Wilbur lives? Finding identity outside of the other things that you can put on in some sort of like persona type way would be the healthy thing to do with your life. But when all of your energy goes into a parasocial void that will never return you anything other than rejection and tragedy, it turns out like this. And I think it's like a good like warning sign. And he's kind of like a parasocial lighthouse sitting up on a rocky shore going, don't go that way. Turn your ship around. Run from being parasocial. I cannot wait to see what y'all think though. There's so much to talk about in this one. I'm gonna be like going through the comments. Also, yeah, definitely let me know top 3 of those necklaces. I also got bracelets and earrings for all of them, so whatever ends up happening happens. So whichever ones end up being the favorites, they're gonna get bracelets and earrings as well. But please subscribe to the channel. I love y'all for watching, especially you, Noel. I love your videos. Should I move? Should I move next door?
No, genuinely how I was at the Creator Summit, going up to people who are like cool,